ghost story takes place in New Orleans. When I was 13 years old, my dad fell in love and married my stepmother. It was almost like an answer to my prayers. Not only was he happy again, but we couldn't have asked for a better stepmother. She lived in New Orleans, and being closer to my dad's work, he moved in with her. About a year after they got married, she wanted to have a child of her own. They found a beautiful old New Orleans style home for our growing family. It was every teenager's dream. The entire upstairs was basically for me, my sister, and my brother. The upstairs had three bedrooms, a bathroom, and a living room. We had our own space and loved it. Shortly after moving in, it became our nightmare. We only stayed at my dad's every other weekend, so it took us a while to realise something wasn't right with this house. It started off as a very negative feeling whenever we would go upstairs. As soon as we'd reach the top of the staircase, the hair on our necks would stand up, and we had a feeling of being watched. The feeling was so terrifying it's almost impossible to describe. We would have friends come stay the weekend on a regular basis, and they refused to go upstairs alone. I actually had a friend wet herself at night because she was too afraid to get up and go to the bathroom by herself. My little sister always slept in my bed because she was too scared to sleep by herself. One night I had trouble falling asleep. After laying in bed a few hours, I could feel my sister moving in bed. When I turned to look at her, she was sitting straight up, staring at the wall. When I said her name, she wouldn't respond. It was like she was in a trance and there was no coming out of it. Although it only lasted a few minutes, it felt like hours. When she laid back down, it was like in slow motion, and as soon as she head hit the pillow, I heard banging coming from inside my closet. It sounded as if someone was trying to get out but couldn't. When I asked her about it the next day, she didn't remember anything. I was so terrified from that experience I moved my dresser in front of my closet door. I guess it made me feel better knowing nothing could get out. Just a few weeks later, that incident, my sister was sitting at my vanity doing her makeup. I had two doors in my bedroom, one leading to the living room and one leading to the hall. The door leading to the hall also led to our attic. You could see the attic door from my room. As she was doing her makeup, she was telling me how scared she was to be in the house. She hated being upstairs and told me she thought it was haunted. Being the older, protective sister, I told her she had nothing to worry about and there was no such thing as ghosts. As soon as I said that, the doorknob on the attic door started shaking and the door flew wide open. I don't think we've ever ran that fast in our entire lives. My brother had an experience in my room. He lived with my dad full time, and one weekend we were at our mum's. He heard my sound machine in my bedroom. He walked in my room to turn it off, but it was unplugged and there was no batteries in it at all. He said he left the house and when he came back later, it had turned off. After all these scary incidents, we started sleeping downstairs on the couch bed. We never had a scary feeling downstairs, but early in the mornings as the sun was rising, we would wake up to what sounded like someone running up and down the stairs hall. It happened on a regular basis, but we would never come up with an explanation for the noise. A lot happened in that house, but these were the most terrifying experiences. I will never forget them. My dad and stepmom always denied having a scary experience in that house. I guess they wanted to feel comfortable and didn't want to use to us to be more afraid knowing what they would have experienced. When they moved, they finally admitted that they thought the house was haunted. They had a few experiences, but nothing like what we had. The activity seemed to happen upstairs, and they rarely went upstairs. They did tell us after they moved that the previous owners were an older couple and they both died in that house. Nothing traumatic, they were elderly and sick, it was just their time. They did have a special needs child that died at a young age in that house. From what we know, they built the house, they started a family, so we were only the second owners. And that's the end of this ghost story. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Please like, please subscribe, and remember, follow the crow.